Hello, this is Daphne Street on Films Gone Wild, and I am speaking with Justina Walford, who is screening her short documentary, Tattler's Tale. Justina, welcome.
Thank you.
So, I want to disclose that I know you personally very, very well, and I know these dogs very, very well. In fact, I was here as you met them, and as this all sort of began for you with one particular dog. And let's start there. Let's talk about Barney.
Okay, so I had adopted Betty at Dallas Animal Shelter, and I was walking her in our neighborhood in southern Dallas, and Barney just came out from behind a car and just started following us home. And at first I was terrified because he was a pretty big dog. And then I was just sort of like, this dog is following us home. Like, how sweet is that? And he just walked into our backyard and he did not look healthy. He did not look good. Um, and I called, and I was new to Dallas at the time, right? Like, I think I'd only been there for like less than a year for sure. And called animal control, and Barney was picked up and taken to animal control, and that was my introduction in the good and bad of dog rescue.
Right.
Because you were there, he was euthanized before I could adopt him. Um,
Right. So to just open up this story a little bit, you didn't know what to do with the dog when you had it in the backyard. So you called animal control, hoping that they could help the dog, rescue the dog, shelter the dog, and they did.
mhm.
You helped them catch the dog. Uh, so
Yes.
so Barney was brought into Dallas Animal Services, and we kept an eye on him. We would visit, and but we weren't sure how this whole thing worked, and you were concerned that maybe they might euthanize him. He wasn't in good shape, but no one was really communicating with you. And
Mhm.
then we were there to visit him one day, and we wanted to go play with him and maybe even take him home, depending on how things were going with him. And then,
And yeah, and I was on phone calls because being married, you don't make a decision like this but alone. I was talking to John on the phone and talking to friends like, should I adopt this dog too? Because we really weren't ready to adopt a second dog, but just out of so much concern for this sweet, sweet thing. As I was on the phone hoping to talk to a vet, the shelter's vet, they euthanized him. And
and
I
we had just seen him.
just
We
seen him,
we
yeah.
looked
And
at him in the shelter in his little cage area. So there was no indication that this was imminent.
yeah, and it showed me that city services, even in a city as big as Dallas, can be really, really lacking in training, in staffing, um, in ability to do the best for what they are, for the people or the animals that they take care of. And it definitely started me on a lot of activism trails, not just dog rescue, but it started with um, the heartbreak of losing this dog that wasn't even mine, but the heartbreak of losing this whole life that I could have shared with this dog. I started doing dog rescue and finding out that Southern Dallas had a dog stray dog problem. And this short documentary starts with my obsession and stalking of Tattler.
Who is a shepherd mix
Yeah.
dog?
I think I'm gonna say she was probably a shepherd mix, a shepherd pit mix, maybe.
Mhm.
but had a lot of shepherd in her for sure, very German shepherdy, and ran with a pack of German shepherds and various boyfriends. And I think the first time I saw her pack, I was again walking Betty and going like, that is a terrifying group of dogs just sitting there on the sidewalk, just hanging out. And but at some point, I kept thinking, like these dogs need to be rescued or else they won't survive because best case scenario, they get picked up from animal control. Best case scenario, they have a small chance. And because it looked like they were street dogs for a long time, um, they definitely did not look healthy. It was pretty clear that they would probably have the same fate. So that's when I did this. I think I didn't start recording because it took, oh my gosh, how long did it take to get Tattler? Tattler took almost 2 years to really to catch. And I caught hundreds
Yeah.
of dogs in between, right? Like all of us put in hours and work sitting in front of traps and smelling like spam. And
Well, and if people aren't familiar with Dallas, Dallas has extreme weather. So it is hotter. I'm a Floridian. It is hotter in Dallas in the summer than Florida ever gets. It is definitely triple digits. And it also freezes. It gets snow and ice storms and also something Florida never experiences. So you have two
mhm,
massive extremes that these dogs live through in the wild.
mhm. And and they I think that the most heartbreaking thing to see was I think it was Emma. I think it was Emma that I saw like in a really windy, stormy part of the year. She just had dug like this shallow hole to kind of like shield her from the wind, and slept that way through the night. And they were stray dogs, possibly never been inside a house their whole lives, likely never been inside a house their whole lives. Um, and they just survived that way. Puppies, probably saved about 50 puppies in that time frame
Yeah.
altogether, or at least tried to. Yeah. Yeah. So
And you collected a lot of the puppies and got them adopted out. Um, and so through the documentary, you'll watch how there were all of these different dogs. You had Dale, you had May, you had Petey, Ghost, Emma, and of course Tadler. Um, and in the middle of all of this, at some point, there's a little puppy Hef who was not part of the pack, but he ended up being a part of your pack.
yes.
Um, and he was an abandoned dog that John, your husband, and you took in and tried to adopt out, but ended up being a foster fail.
Mhm.
So he's living with the current pack in your home. Um, so
And that
so
was our home. Like every foster fail, what we kept the foster, like we would try to, like Dale had a whole bunch of meet and greets, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna act like a jerk to these people, so I can stay in the house I'm in right now."
and I want to try to express uh, look, these were street dogs, so they have unique personalities, right? They don't. They're not very accepting of strangers. We have to be very careful when new people come around, and we can introduce them, and they can get used to others, but it takes a while, and not everybody. So they have unique personalities, but I promise you, I am with these dogs almost every day, and they are house dogs. They live on sofas and look forward to treats and just like any other house dog. And my favorite was watching Tadler when she got used to being a pet, which took a while, um, watching her sleep by a fireplace in the winter, as Justina and John would pet her, and her coming up for pets. Not all the time, but every once in a while, she'll come up to you with her tail wagging, saying, "Me too," and sit on sofas and do all the things every pet does, which when you first met her, you would think would never happen.
Yeah, because this documentary was made like a few years ago, so it is actually the beginning of of her being a home dog journey. So it's showing her unable to walk through a door. Because what people don't realize is that when dogs have been on the street their whole lives, or even for a few years, they do not understand doors are terrifying. Enclosures are terrifying to them. And the reason why she wasn't caught is because a trap, no matter how big, she was not going to fall for it. So a house is just a big trap to her. It took a long time to get her accustomed to me or humans, and Hef was actually her kind of her Sherpa into the world of homes. And her having to develop all that trust and live in like the Tattler house, which is like a little miniature compound for her. And that's where the documentary starts, and then really the rest of the story after that documentary could be a whole other documentary because
Right.
she went from being terrified of people, being terrified of houses, to being a dog that would actually trick you, manipulate you by saying, I need to go outside just to get you to stand up so she could take your spot on the couch. So she definitely acclimated. I have a photo of her on a bed while I'm sleeping, looking up at John taking the picture and being like, haha, I got her. Like, she changed so much over the years. We got so lucky that she learned to trust. The best story for after the documentary, years, I think years after the documentary, I had to take her to the vet, and she was now an indoor dog at this point, and she had to go to the vet. She did not like cars. She lived her whole life not liking cars. Um, and I remember trying to get her into the car, and she got loose of her leash, and she started running down the street. And I'm watching her run down that sidewalk, and I know if she turns left, she's going to go to where she used to live on the street. She's going to go back exactly to where she was. And and I'm watching her run. I go, I guess that's it. I just have to accept it. She's a street dog again because I screwed up and I couldn't get her into the car. And I was so devastated. And I watched her, and just where she was supposed to turn left to go back to being a street dog, she turned right, and then she turned right again, and I saw her at the back gate going, let me back in the house. I don't want to be in the car, but I trust you enough to let you be back in the house. And I was like, oh, that was the best feeling of like she wants to be home. She knows what home is. It was like unconditional love. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And so, because people will want to know, let's talk about now and your last days with Tattler.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I have been in California and then Arizona for a while. And so John is the guardian of Tattler, or was, and you all were wonderful with her. Uh but she was definitely aging. I forget what the illness is called, but she was ill.
Cushing's.
Cushing's. She had Cushing's. And you both would report back to me of how she was doing and how it was progressing. And she was still a very happy dog, but her quality of life was going down. And um, I flew back in so we could, because no cars, to have someone come to the house, um, so we could all say goodbye. And um, gosh, that would have made her living to the age of about 13, maybe. I mean, it's all a guess because we really have no idea how old
Right.
she was when she came to us. 13 or 14 for a street dog, that is a miraculous age to live to. Happy to the end inside that living
Oh,
room.
And she was properly spoiled
Properly yes.
before she went across the Rainbow Bridge. She was getting McDonald's hamburgers and
Yeah.
this dog loved scrap food. She had one tooth, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And we're standing in the kitchen and we hear this loud pop and we can't figure out where it's coming from. And eventually I realized she had stolen a can of cat food that had been left on a counter. And with her one tooth, was able to open it up and eat the cat food. She's very, very talented.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think the first time she was willing to be close to me, I had a can of sardines and I dropped them on the ground and that's the closest she got to me for like that whole 2 years was that sardine. She was like, this I can like, but I couldn't afford to buy her sardines every day when I was trying to trap her. So that's when we moved to Spam and Vienna sausage. Um,
That's
so yeah,
right.
and it's funny because I forget why. Oh, I think she had to be on a low salt diet, like um,
Oh,
afterward, like when she first got caught, because she had to have surgery right as soon as she was caught. She had to have like 3 surgeries. Um, and so they were like, you had to put her on a good diet. It wasn't like a special diet, but a good diet. And I remember Jen and I laughing about it, like, oh gosh, no more spam. Like, what's to live for? No more spam.
when you're a street dog,
When you're
absolutely.
right.
So this film is screening at Billy the Kid Film Festival. So tell us a little bit about Billy the Kid.
So Billy the Kid Film Festival is eh, eighth year. Is it going to its eighth year? It's been a while. It's been a while for that. It's been around. It's in Hico, Texas, which is a small town between Dallas and Austin, and they have a soft spot for Dallas and Austin filmmakers. It's an international film festival, but they love the Texas filmmaker most. I will say that they treat the Texas filmmakers like royalty out there. Um, and it is of the themes of um, outlaws, people who think differently. Not just Westerns, but they do have a Westerns short section. But they definitely it's all about like the people who think outside the box, people who go against the grain. So my film is one of many Texas shorts, Texas made shorts that are going to be opening night on Friday, November 7th.
That is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
you're going
Oh,
to be there, right?
yes, and I'm going to be there. And we're raising awareness for Heiko PD has an animal control, and they're hoping to raise enough funds for a shelter. So I am hoping, I don't know if they will, and I mentioned it to somebody in the film festival. I'm not in charge of this, but maybe I hope they have like maybe one or two adoptable dogs to walk the red carpet at the festival. Their red carpet is on Saturday, which I'll be there for that too. I'll be walking the red carpet. Um, yeah, I hope but if not, I'm bringing Betty, my dog Betty. I'm bringing her. So maybe I'll have her walk the red carpet instead.
To
She's
make
not adoptable.
sure, because we did talk about your first experience with Dallas Animal Services. They've improved significantly since that incident. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, for Dallas PD, Dallas P it went up and down, right? So like there's with when I started getting into rescue, the Barnaby years, there's like 10,000 stray dogs counted by rescuers. And the shelter was really horrible and subpar. They've gone through two or three directors since then. Um, and since then, because of the animal rescuers that I spent time with, that I did advocacy work with, we Dallas got two police officers, started with two police officers who became in charge of animal cruelty. That's all they did was animal cruelty. I don't know how many officers it is now, if it's more or less or the same, but there is an animal cruelty division of the police department, which was a huge win. Um,
And there's also a new procedure so that rescuers can attach their name to an animal they've rescued and are alerted if an animal is put on the euthanasia list.
yes, because that went away, came back, went away, and came back. And that and I guess animal rescue is contagious because John, my husband, like went straight into animal rescue when I had to be in California, and he has rescued possibly hundreds of dogs now himself. Um, and he has gone through the ups and downs of that, of trying to attach his name. And sometimes the policy is in place, but you still don't get the phone call. And sometimes the policy is in place and you do get the phone call, and it's so helpful. It helps rescuers trust the process. I think when I started in rescue, many rescuers hated Dallas Animal Control so much that they bypassed the shelter. And
Right.
I, that's tough because if that dog is owned, it doesn't have a solid chance of being found. But because the shelter was so bad back in the day, it just seemed like uh, worth it, unfortunately, because those dogs would not be making it out alive of the shelter. And now dogs have a much better chance of finding their owners, their original owners, which is fantastic. And if their original owners are somehow neglectful or abusive, there's also that in place, that procedure in place to see if that's the case. Um, and why I am glad that my short films attached to the local animal control in Heiko for Billy the Kid Film Festival is because in rural areas, there's an even bigger challenge in that if you do not have an animal shelter nearby or for your city, your animal shelter can be a 2 hour drive away. And that makes it difficult for owners to be reunited with their animals. So hopefully,
Exactly.
fingers crossed, they get their shelter.
That would be amazing.
Mhm.
What do you hope audiences take away from viewing this film?
Um, in the world of animal rescue, I hope people see the challenges of animal rescue and the reward of animal rescue. It is, um, if I get into heaven, it's because of Tattler. But also on an activism level, the real message of the short film is that we all go into advocacy and activism thinking that there is a problem to solve, and we will always, guaranteed, somewhere in that process, connect to other people and to animals, but also to other people. And in that community, find something so rewarding in the fight to help. And
Mm,
and that community is really the gift of going out on a limb and trying to rescue some dog, or going on a limb and saving the ocean, or cleaning, your neighborhood park, whatever it is, you're going to find the reward of it.
absolutely. The film was made several years ago.
Mhm.
Is there anything when you watch the film now that maybe hits you a little differently than originally?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think there's a point where um, I'm talking about what I plan to do next. And I'm getting emotional. And in that moment in the film, I have no idea what's going to happen next, right? It's really, we had just caught her. I feel guilty because it was a traumatic experience for her to get her caught. We had to go through some pretty extreme channels to be able to do it because she was such a smart and stubborn dog. Um, and I'm crying in it from guilt and relief and fear, all these emotions. And now that I know that it was worth it, there's no doubt in my mind that it was the right thing to do. That hits. That hits.
I bet.
I wish I could like hug that me and be like, it's gonna be okay. She's going to be in a bed cuddling with you
She's
at
gonna
some point, you
love
know?
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that she even got to live with her pack, her boyfriend Dale, her friend Ghost, and of course her daughter May Dog.
Hmm.
That's so special. And that Hef, who, if you were to meet Hef the dog, he is a special guy. He's so sweet, so just innocent, and that he was the one that kind of made Tattler realize that people are okay.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like I always forget this part of the film of me like petting him to show her that I can pet her. Like he's like, see it's pretty cool. They do this thing where they like pet you. And it seems annoying at first, but it's actually really cool. Like you could tell he's like kind of like giving her that communication. It's so great. Yeah, and it is a little looking back on, I'm like, what made me think it was a smart move to take a pack of street dogs and just put them in our living room?
I was terrified. So at the time, y'all, I was living upstairs. My mom had just passed away. I had just started a new business. So my friends are like, come stay with us. We've got a whole upstairs we're not even using. So I moved in for about a year and a half as this all unfolded. And every single morning I woke up, I wasn't sure what weird creature was going to be downstairs trying to eat me and my cat who were living upstairs. But they are just the most special animals ever.
Hmm.
It's really amazing. Currently, the pack, after you know deaths here and there over the years, we still have Dale Dog, we still have Hef, we still have Maid Dog, um, and it's pretty special to be around all of them. Uh, you'll see Dale in the film. He's got this cool, like, black muzzle, and he's all brown and puppy like. And now he has a distinguished gray muzzle as he's
Yes.
aging through the years, and but still a very, very happy, active guy. They all are. Um, so yeah. So what's next for you after this festival?
I really, let me see. A whole bunch of things. But mainly I am now writing novellas. I want to say novels, but I'm going to be honest, that's a lot of words. So now writing novellas. And I have a Substack where I do flash fiction, which you turned me on to. So now I'm doing short stories. Um, and that's an alert. And then and that's all scary stuff. No dogs in it.
No.
No, it's just vampires and cannibals.
Well, and you and your husband have made a feature film that's a horror film, so it tracks.
It does. It does. Scary stories are my favorite stories. Um, so it's the second of the Dr. Betty series comes out in a couple months, and just now I finished a flash fiction that I'm going to put on my Substack. That's a of the Dr. Betty universe.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add before we go away?
No, that's it. Just go to Billy the Kid Film Festival and check out Heiko.
Awesome. Thank you, Justina. Appreciate it. And I look forward to it.